Excuse me on the tear. Been a long road, been some long years. Concrete pillow, I am bed. Whole lot of silence in my head. Check out our new station. Channel of my life in rotation. Used to only play pain and rage. Now I'm flipping to a different way.
Hello everybody, this is a special edition of Excuse Me on the Tier, and I'm here with Casper Odinson. Nice to meet you, sir.
How are you?
I'm well. And this format is set up for long-term offenders, re-entry, PTSD, but it's real kind of tier talk, and it's a rare opportunity to be able to have Casper here on Excuse Me on the Tier. Because he's lived it and he's been through it. Yeah, maybe do you want to just introduce yourself and how you found yourself on this format or whatnot?
Well, my name is Dr. Casper Odinson Crowell, and I spent a total of 39 years in prison. The last term alone was 3 decades. That was a double life sentence under 3 strikes, plus 14 years. Never thought I was going to get out. Like a lot of us, saw no pathway to getting out. So just like you once said, I just embraced the fact that this is my reality, life in prison. And when I got my life sentences, back then, guys with 25 years to life or even 17 to life, they were never getting out. And the guys with 7 to life, you can forget about that. Those guys were never getting out. I started watching things change. And still, when I was active, I couldn't bring myself to divest myself, if you will, of all the indoctrination and the lies that we pass around and feed to each other and start believing. That are, of course, nothing in concert with the truth and the reality as they exist when you get away from that vacuum that we lived in. So, when we started talking, I called you about the interview I watched the other day and wanted to just talk about that and started talking about PTSD and the need for people to understand the reality of PTSD for people that have done time. Anybody who's done time over 5 or 6 years in the old system. The system's changed quite a bit, but it's changing again now to where they're just throwing everybody together to fend for themselves. Which I believe is just another tactic by the department to try to reinstitute indeterminate shoe programs, So you got people just getting stabbed up and killed and beat up, and by depending on where they're at. On the other hand, you got people that are able to go to yards where they can take advantage of education, rehabilitation. The CDC does not rehabilitate anybody. Rehabilitation is something that we ourselves have to do when we come to a conclusion that I don't want to do what I've been doing anymore. Like the saying in Gogi says, you keep giving what you've been given, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. So became that kind of a program for me. I decided, I was betrayed by these people. I was no longer loyal to them, but I couldn't make the step to walk away from that and be ostracized even further. Here you got people trying to kill you, and they've already hit you, already stabbed you, and made attempts on your lives, and yet you can't bring yourself to take that step because you don't want to be ostracized by these people that are the only people you know. Your whole identity is wrapped up in this.
Excuse Me on the Tier. This series with Casper is multi-part. The reason being is we sat down for almost an hour and a half, so we're taking it piece by piece. Before we go any further, hit the like and subscribe button and drop a comment. Let me know what's hitting and who you want to see next, because we're building something better than General Hospital on the shoe term. Excuse Me on the Tier is real talk, people who grew up in the system and the experiences that shaped them. If you think you know the people on the tier, don't stop at the reputation or the image. Take a moment, listen to the story, and meet the person behind it. Thank you on the tier.
I walked away from this house after this incident happened. It had nothing to do with me, except that I told this guy to stop what he was doing, and he told me, fuck you. So I walked away. had this guy, and then I was halfway to the car down the sidewalk. I thought to myself, if I let this guy tell me fuck you, he's telling the brand fuck you. And I'm a weak link, and I got to go because I allowed it. So I got to go back in and deal with this dude. So I go back in and I shoot him. And didn't think twice about it. It was him or me in the way I looked at it. I was indoctrinated, and that's what I bought into. And no one right away when I pulled that, even holding that gun before I pulled the trigger, I knew this is life in prison for me under 3 strikes. And I still couldn't get away from that because I bought so into this bullshit. I was so invested in it. God, even hear myself say this to you right now just makes me so angry. And so, it's like, how could men of intelligence be so stupid? It's not that we're stupid.
It's like a reduction. Like we reduce ourselves, and so become so small, so fixated on this disrespect or whatever that. And what do you do when you find yourself getting upset like that? Like when you're thinking about that and reliving that, what is the process like? Breathe. How do you?
So I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that because this impressed psychologists in prison. I found something that finally worked for me by accident. Actually, I was pulling runes, looking for strength, and I found that strength was within me by doing this. I realized the first time that it happened, a guy's talking to me, and I wanted to sock him right in the mouth. My thought was even to go back to the cell and get my piece and come out and stab him next unlock. And because I had 3 pieces that I had stored away, and they were good ones. So I sat there. I thought, okay, well, you know what? Start counting. So you start counting breaths. So I've learned that the mind can't do but 2 things at one time. In other words, I can listen to him so I can be a part of this conversation. Tell him, why are we getting so excited about this? Let's try another tack. Let's hit the reset button. But I'm watching in case his shoulder feigns at any time to be able to defend myself. But I'm counting breaths. So counting breaths, I can't open my mouth. Like, if I'm not counting breaths, I sit there and I want to say, oh, shut the fuck up, you fucking fat mouth motherfucker. But I can't do that because I'm counting breaths. So I'm counting breaths. 1, 2. So I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware of the conversation. I'm aware of any finger in the shoulder. But I can't open my mouth because I'm counting my breaths. So I can't just let this shit come out of my mouth without a filter. That's what's worked for me. I still use it to this day. When I start getting mad, I start counting breaths. And it works. So,
that's a little bit like the Gogi 5-second light switch. It's, I have an old thought and I have a new action, right? And if that action, I was practicing right now when I was doing it, right? Because I think this is what gets us in trouble a lot, right? But then you got guys like you and me and other people that are similarly suited. When this kind of matches that action, it's something special, right? And now it's about honing that into a positive thing, right? Not focusing, like looking for the solution, pushing it to space, understanding, like, I think that's what kind of is unique within like a concrete yard or everything. Everything becomes so small and fixated, but we pick at the most negative things in each other rather than playing to strength. And why do you think that people do that? Like, why are we so good could happen, good, this guy could be doing this and that, and then, oh, well, this thing or that thing, and all of a sudden it all of that good is taken away. How do we manage that?
No, I think it happens because, like I said, it also goes with that indoctrination. There's subconscious thoughts that tell us I'm being punked right now, or this is going on when nothing's really happening. We create our idea. We transfer our idea of what somebody's doing or thinking. We don't know if somebody's having a bad day, so he didn't reply to a message you sent to him or something like that. You see him on the yard, it's like, oh yeah, what's up, motherfucker? You don't know what that guy's going through. But you think you're punked or dissed by this guy because he didn't respond to your message. That's in your headspace. We can't control what somebody else does. All we can control is what we do. Be the difference is what they say. So I think that's part of it. Another thing, we were talking about the mouth gets us in trouble. The Havamal has a saying by Odin about that the tongue is the slayer of the head, and so it's exactly true. If we take the time to think before we speak, which is always easier said than done. But for me, when I started counting breaths, it helped me think before I speak, because I can't talk when I'm counting those breaths. So my words can't just come out of my mouth. I mean, anybody who's known me over the years will tell you, Casper's, if one thing, even my enemies compliment me, because that guy's 0 to 1,000 in like no time flat. If he even detects something's up or something's wrong, he just goes, and he'll tell you exactly
like
what he does.
Like a volcano erupting.
Right, and I've had to learn how to deal with that, and it's not always easy. I'm still learning, but you can't do that out here. I cleared a whole Costco food court one day, and my wife goes, "You can't do that out here." I said, "I just did. Look, we got the whole place to ourselves. Go make our order." But it was because these two young kids were going by. They were like probably in their 20s, and they looked like they were stoned. And there's just such disrespect. It's crowded, and I shouldn't have gone in the first place. My wife said, "I should have never brought you here so soon." But it was so, my head's just on a swivel. Everything's happening behind you in front. It was crazy, bro. And then we get to the food court, and these guys, they've been pushing this cart, and they went by and they almost knocked this old lady over. And anyway, they hit my wife's cart, and I grabbed her cart. He goes, "What are you doing? You're like, over a cart." "What am I doing, dude?" "The fuck you think you're talking to?" And I just came out of a bag on him. I mean, people were scared. People cleared. These kids are, "Man, we meant no disrespect." He meant exactly what you meant, motherfucker, you little cocksucker. I mean, I'm just blowing it, And so they split. Everybody splits. And Lindy goes, "You can't do that out here. Go to jail." And so, I didn't even think anything of what she said. And then I did it again someplace else with 4 or 5 people I thought were challenging me. And where I was at I had to go to transitional housing, which was these apartment complexes. And I was like the only SNY guy there. And there were people there that they knew who I were. As the older veteranos, they gave me my space, and they said, "We don't beef with you, Casper, no pedo, and just do your thing, and we'll do ours." But I had to live with 4 guys in this apartment, 2 in each room, and 2 of them like to smoke. So they like to leave the door unlocked all night, so they don't get locked out from the little combination on it. And I told them, I said, "Man, I can't live this way. I'm in the hat. I'm always going to be in the hat." And to somebody who's misguided and thinks they're going to make a big name for themselves, just coming here while I'm sleeping and do me, I was like, "I can't sleep. I can't sleep here like that. You got to relax the door." And so push came to shove one day down in the little laundry room. There was like 4 of them down. I said, "What the fuck you looking at, man?" I said, "The fuck you looking at? Who do you fucking think? You think because somebody goes S&Y that they forget who they are? You become more dangerous, not less, asshole. You want to get stupid? Let's get stupid." I started to go sideways. My parole agent told me, because what happens if somebody says, "Yeah, fuck you, let's do this"? Then you get violated, you go back, or worse, you catch some murder beef, or you get killed. She goes, what happens then? So I had to start thinking about things, man. And I had to start thinking, I got to stop this. And like I told you earlier, just like in the joint, you got to stop thinking in terms in there the same way you're thinking. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. I had to start changing the way I was thinking out here. Remove myself from those situations. Since I've been out, I've had 4 people try to press up on me. Well, actually, 4 incidents that all had 2 people. One had 3 people. They tried to press up on me. People get this idea, you go S&Y, now you're a punk and you're not going to do anything. They get it all twisted, and I'm not that guy at all. I'm a close the gap real quick kind of guy, use a knife real quick kind of guy. I carry like 3 knives on me at all time, nice blades. I don't want to use them, but if you come at me threatening and you got something in your hand, shame on you. So, I'm trying to live a good life out here. I've been out here almost 3 years. I've been peaceful. I'm living a good life. I'm living basically a law-abiding life. I don't do dope. I don't do anything illegal. I get involved in civic, programs out here. But there's people that think they can make a play on you or test the waters or whatever, and they find out they're wrong. Anybody can come up behind you and shoot you. And you'll never see it coming. But short of that, somebody's going to get in your space and actually have the time. They're in a bad situation. They don't even know it. I tell myself, don't look at it like that. Unless somebody actually gets close enough to you, talk is cheap. It means nothing. It's talk. It means nothing. You got to tell yourself what's important to you: your freedom, your liberties, or your ego. Slay the ego. In one of my books, I wrote about slaying the ego. I wrote one of my articles in there. It's called "Slay the Ego," or slay the ego, tame the id. Keep the id.
Which book is this? It's a published book or a paper?
No, they're published books. All my books are published. You can get them from Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com. They're not on Kindle, so they're hard copies. They're books. They're all they're like $20 or less. Some people try to sell them for, I don't know why they sell them for $300, or Amazon even has one issue for like $47. You get the same book on Amazon for like $18. I don't know why that's there, but one is Vorhorn Seether, Our Living Faith, and the other one is Hammer of the Gods, and that right there, Hammer of the Gods, was actually written in parts as I was progressing in my progress. It's actually a blueprint for Odinist to get out of prison. And I didn't even realize it I got out. And that's where all the essays and articles are. They talk about living clean, being accountable for your actions, being your own master, things like that, I mean, this one right here, Echo Under Your Hammer of the Gods, this is the one that has all those essays and stuff. It's like a blueprint. The other one, Vorhorn Seether, is more about conducting bloats and stuff like that, and whether you're with a group or whether you're by yourself, like in the hole or something. It dawned on me quick that we're only allowed 10 books on the yard, and in the hole they only like have 5 and 5 magazines and stuff. So you're limited on what you got. I decided I have to write a book that has all this stuff in it, so I have it. So I actually wrote the book for myself originally, and somebody saw it and said, "Man, you need to publish this. This needs to be published." And so that's how it got published. But I mean, it actually got me out of prison. So and I stayed true to my faith, true to my honor, true to myself. I realized true self-esteem begins with you, not what people think of you.
Excuse me on the tier. Hear this one about change. Real change. Got talk. Time earned change. Corker and stone where the silence cuts deep. 40 years lost that you don't get to keep. Every hallway echo got memory burned. Every lesson harsh that a man had to learn. Casper Odinson Crowell, name in the line. 39 winners locked out of time. Built in a world where survival was law, where every mistake left cracks in the wall. Not praise, not myth, just a fact of the place, where a man either breaks or he learns to face what he did, what it cost, what it took to survive, and what part of himself didn't stay alive. Excuse me on the tear, hear it clear. Some come out changed after all those years. Not the same man that first went in, but carrying weight of where he's been. Excuse me on the tear, no disguise. Truth don't bend, it just opens eyes. And some finally see what it means to stand outside the walls with a different plan. Crowley changed when the silence got loud. No more noise of the yard, no crowd, just reflection sitting where anger used to be. Looking at chains that weren't always key. The world he knew started falling apart. What once was structure turned into heart. Questions came in where certainty lived, about what was taken and what could be given. Not about glorifying what came before, but understanding what closed every door, and choosing to step where the light still hits, even if part of the past still sits. Excuse me on the tear, this is the turn where a man decides what lessons he'll learn, not defined by but what he builds when the sentence is done. Then the gates open and nothing feels normal. 40 years behind him, but the mind still travels. Now the message is different, the tone has shifted from survival mindset to something gifted, using the past as a warning sign for younger ones still chasing the line. Speaking on change, not pride in the pain, not glorifying what only brings change, but showing that even a long lost track can still turn forward if you don't look back. Casper steps out with a story to tell, not of triumph inside that cell, but of what it costs and what it takes to rebuild life from the choices you make. Excuse me on the tier, here and now. Change is possible, even somehow. Not who you were when the door shut tight, but who you become when you step in night. Excuse me on the tier, truth remains. Time don't erase, but it can refrain, and some men leave with a different view. Not proud of the past, but past it too. Yeah, that's the real tear story, not the fall, the return. Thank you on the tier.